Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel for the Renaissance English History Podcast. I am your host, Heather. I've been podcasting on Tudor England since 2009 with my show, which makes it the original Tudor History Podcast. This channel is where I put all of my episodes from all of my shows, as well as tons of extra content like this video right here. Today, we are going to talk about another conspiracy theory. So last week I did a video on whether Elizabeth I actually had children, which is a conspiracy theory that floats around a little bit. Today, we're going to talk about another conspiracy theory around Elizabeth, which is that she was a man. So, you guys really came through in the comments last week. I asked you for your favorite conspiracy theory, and this was actually one of those comments. So, I had forgotten about this one. So, again, if you have a favorite conspiracy theory around the Tudors, I would love to hear it. Leave a comment below when we're done here or right now, whenever you like. And we'll cover it in the future. I want to do like a whole once a week thing on conspiracy theories around the Tudors because I actually really love conspiracy theories. I don't generally believe conspiracy theories because they require a level of competence that I don't think humanity is really capable of. Like the level of competence and secrecy required to maintain some of these conspiracy theories. Like, I just don't think it's possible. Like, I think somebody's going to break. But, I don't know. Who knows? Sometimes there's like a little grain or kernel of truth where like maybe somebody might have known something but didn't do anything to stop it. And then that like turns into like this massive overblown conspiracy of like, dozens of people involved. And it's also like I talk about this a lot with my husband about like what actually counts as a conspiracy theory. Because he has some ideas that I don't know, they're like borderline conspiracy theories. I think generally because I don't go in for these things. But he'll be like, well, I don't know, maybe this person knew about whatever and didn't stop it. I'm like, yeah, but does that make it a conspiracy theory? That just seems like a level of incompetence to me. It's not a conspiracy. And so, I think that in order to have a conspiracy, you need to have some forethought and some planning and some nefarious intentions. I think sometimes things are just a failure of the system and it doesn't make it a conspiracy. It just means that somebody messed up or whatever. So, but then there's other things like, I don't know, he talks a lot about the whole JFK thing, which has been in the news now because like supposedly those files are going to be released. And the whole idea of the magic bullet that went every different kind of direction. I honestly I don't have a horse in that race or dog in that race or a pony. I don't have any animal in any race about that. I just generally tend to not believe in conspiracy theories. That doesn't mean I don't love them though. I absolutely love conspiracy theories. I love reading about them and thinking about them. So we're going to talk about another conspiracy theory today. I have talked enough. I guarantee there's going to be a comment below that says, you talk too much in the beginning. Or maybe there won't be now because I said it. Anyway, I've talked a lot. So let's get into it. But first, of course, before we get started, if you want to see more Tudor history, conspiracy theory or not in your YouTube feed, go ahead and hit subscribe so you never miss a video that I put out. All right, let's get into it. You know what? I should put on my glasses so I can see my notes, my bifocals, because I'm old. I said that last time too. All right. Whew. Suddenly the screen is clear. So let's talk about it. What if I told you that Queen Elizabeth I, one of England's most famous monarchs, wasn't actually Elizabeth at all, that she was secretly a man, swapped for the real princess as a child and raised in her place? Yeah, no. Believe it or not, some people actually really think that this happened. The so-called Bisley Boy theory claims that Elizabeth died in childhood, and in a desperate cover-up, her governess replaced her with a red-haired boy. That boy supposedly fooled Henry VIII, the entire Tudor court, and, well, all of history. Today we're going to break this bizarre theory down, where it came from, why it's completely bonkers, and most importantly, what the real historical evidence tells us. Spoiler alert, Elizabeth was exactly who she said she was. So the story goes like this. In 1542, when Elizabeth was just 9 years old, she was sent to Overcourt House in Bizly to escape an outbreak of the plague in London. But according to this theory, she died unexpectedly while she was there. Her governess, Kat Ashley, and household officer Thomas Parry were supposedly terrified because Henry VIII was about to visit his daughter. Rather than confess that Elizabeth was actually, dead, they panicked. Since no local red-haired girls could be found, they supposedly found a red-haired boy instead. This child was dressed, trained, and passed off as Elizabeth, who then grew up to become one of England's greatest monarchs. For centuries, this was just a bit of local folklore in the Gloucestershire village of Bizly. But then in 1910, Bram Stoker, yes, the guy who wrote Dracula, got hold of the story and ran with it in his book Famous Impostors. Stoker was intrigued by the Bisley's unusual May Day tradition, where the village's May Queen was always a boy dressed in Elizabethan-style clothing. The locals claimed that this was because of the Bisley Boy legend. Stoker took this village custom, combined it with a few odd historical details, and turned it into a full-blown Tudor conspiracy theory. And that is how this bizarre bit of Cotswold folklore became an international myth. Like most Tudor conspiracy theories, and really any conspiracy theory in general, this one thrives on the idea of hidden royal secrets. Some people latch on to Elizabeth's so-called masculine traits. They point to her famous speech at Tilbury, where she declared, "I know that I have a body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and a king of England, too." To them, this wasn't just a powerful speech, it's actually coded language admitting that she was actually a man. Then there are the Victorians, who had a real issue with strong and independent women. They struggled to accept that a female ruler could be as highly intelligent and politically savvy and completely in control of her own image as Elizabeth was. So instead of acknowledging her as an exceptional leader, they reached for an explanation. She must have been a man. And then, of course, there's the fact that Elizabeth never married. Some argue this wasn't because she wasn't fiercely independent, afraid of childbirth, and scarred and traumatized from what happened to her mother and all of that, but actually because she was secretly a man and couldn't risk a husband discovering the truth. As if an entire court of ladies-in-waiting, ambassadors, and physicians wouldn't have noticed something first. Anyway, evidence for the theory, such as it is. Supporters of the Bisley Boy theory cling to a few key pieces of evidence. In the 19th century, Reverend Thomas Keble supposedly found a child's skeleton dressed in Tudor clothing buried near Overcourt House. Some claim that this was the real Elizabeth, buried in secret. Elizabeth always wore heavy makeup, wigs, elaborate ruffs. Some argue this was to hide her masculine features. Her grave has never been opened, so technically no DNA tests have been done to confirm that she was a woman. But here's the thing. None of this is actual evidence. I've never had a DNA test done on me to prove that I'm a woman, but I'm a woman. Anyway, there's no documentation of Keble's supposed discovery, just local rumors. The fact that Elizabeth wore heavy makeup, this was standard for Tudor women. And as for her grave never being examined, neither have most royal tombs. This doesn't mean that we assume that they were secretly someone else. All right, let's look at the evidence against the theory. This theory falls apart immediately when you actually look at the historical evidence. First, Elizabeth's body was never hidden. Elizabeth was constantly surrounded by people. This is the same reason she couldn't have given birth in secret. She had an entire household of ladies-in-waiting who helped her dress every single day. If she had biologically been a male, someone, actually hundreds of people, would have noticed. On top of that, the Tudor court was a hotbed of gossip. Nothing stayed secret. Even rumors about Elizabeth's love life, her supposed affairs, spread like wildfire. If she had been an imposter, ambassadors, courtiers, political enemies would have undoubtedly used it against her. There were also foreign diplomats obsessed with her fertility. Elizabeth's ability to have children was a major issue for European politics. Foreign ambassadors kept detailed records of her health, her menstrual cycles, any signs of pregnancy because of ongoing marriage negotiations. Yes, foreign men literally reported on Elizabeth's periods. There was even the famous incident where Elizabeth became ill for a month and rumors flew that she was actually secretly pregnant. If she had been biologically a male, this kind of scrutiny would have exposed it immediately. Third, Henry VIII would have noticed. Henry VIII wasn't the most observant father, but he did see Elizabeth on a somewhat regular basis. Are we really supposed to believe that he wouldn't recognize that his daughter had been swapped for a boy? Even if Henry wasn't around all the time, plenty of other people, her stepmother Catherine Parr, her half-sister Mary, anybody at court, would have noticed a sudden shift in her appearance and behavior. Also, the writing change is a myth. So Bram Stoker claimed that Elizabeth's handwriting suddenly changed in 1542, supporting the idea that she was secretly replaced. But there's zero evidence of this. Also, handwriting develops naturally over time. My handwriting when I was 9 years old is very different than it was today. And you go through phases. I went through phases when I was, where you make your E's certain ways or you make your A's certain ways. You put like the little top on it or whatever. Like it changes, it evolves. We have tons of surviving letters from Elizabeth in her childhood, her teenage years, her adulthood, all written in the same distinct style. And also, finally, Reverend Kebble's discovery is just a rumor. The only physical evidence for this theory is that Reverend Thomas Kebble found a child's skeleton in Tudor clothing in Bizly during the 19th century. Except there's no actual proof that he found anything at all. No official report, no grave marker, no documentation, just local rumors that a skeleton was found and mysteriously reburied. And even if a child's skeleton was found, that doesn't mean it was Elizabeth. Plenty of children died in that village in the Tudor period. Tudor England had a very high child mortality rate, and plenty of noble families lived in the area as well. So just because there's a child skeleton doesn't make it Elizabeth. Why does this theory persist? So there's zero evidence that Elizabeth was secretly a man. Why do people still talk about it? Of course, people love a royal scandal. I love a royal scandal. There's something about secret royal swaps and hidden identities that captures the imagination. This is the same reason people love conspiracy theories about Anastasia Romanov surviving the Russian Revolution or Prince Tudor theories about Shakespeare. Also, the Victorians had some pretty serious gender issues. This theory really took off during the Victorian period and the Edwardian period when society was still deeply uncomfortable with powerful women. Queen Victoria herself was highly traditional. She married and had children and saw her role as secondary to her husband. Elizabeth I, on the other hand, was strong-willed, never married, refused to play the role of a submissive wife. Instead of accepting that a woman could be independent and successful, Victorians invented a theory that made her secretly a man, because why not? Also, it follows a familiar conspiracy theory pattern. The logic of this theory is the same as other Tudor conspiracy theories. No real evidence, claim there was a cover-up. Uncomfortable facts, make up a secret explanation. Any little detail that doesn't completely fit, use it as proof that something bigger was hidden. This is the same pattern that we see in all kinds of absurd theories, like people claiming Shakespeare was a noblewoman, or Shakespeare was actually Elizabeth, or Shakespeare was Mary Queen of Scots, or Mary Queen of Scots had a secret child. All kinds of stuff, right? So, did Elizabeth actually die as a child and get replaced by a boy? No. Was she actually a man in disguise? No. Did she have to deal with way more ridiculous rumors about her than any other Tudor monarch? Abso-flippin-lutely. The real conspiracy here isn't about Elizabeth's identity. It's about the fact that people have spent centuries trying to explain away her success rather than accepting the fact that she was just simply a brilliant woman ruler. So let me know in the comments, what is the wildest Tudor conspiracy theory that you have heard? I can't wait to get into more of these. It's super fun. Yeah, just love a good conspiracy theory. All right, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video and you enjoyed it, I sure would appreciate it. Press that like button. It helps feed the algorithm and get our content to more people. I hope I earned your subscription to my channel where I put out Tudor videos, conspiracy theory or not, on the regular. On the regular. I can talk. I think it's snowing. Yeah, it's snowing. I just realized it's snowing outside. That's fun. All right. All right, friend. If you want to keep binging Tudor content, here's that other conspiracy theory video that I did last week about Elizabeth I having had secret children. You might enjoy that. Or here's a video that YouTube thinks you'll like. Thanks so much for being here. I will be back very soon. Don't forget to drink your water, my friend. All right. Bye-bye.